All right, so we are going to button up the motor wells, finish gluing the pieces in there permanent. Hopefully everything comes out smoothly. I taped these. All right, so first I'll take this off. And this was just holding my spacing here. This should slide out. There we go. And hopefully these come off easy enough. I did tape the ends yesterday, just so they hopefully wouldn't stick. We'll find out in a minute here. Man. All right, I need a mallet. All right, let me get a pry bar. Alright, less than a pry bar, but hopefully this works. Oh, that could help. I forgot I screwed the damn thing. All right, that one's a little bit. Let's try this again. Ah, beautiful. Well, that shows you how strong the epoxy joints are. It's never easy. Okay. All right, beautiful. We are just about ready to go here. Get everything prepped. I did that off camera. So I rounded the corners on the back of these. This will be the bottom, and everything fits in between here. I made marks on where that front panel sits so we can actually just line it up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot a couple of brad nails in. I have the gun, so I might as well, you know, use what I have. I'm by myself today. So I'll shoot a couple of brads in through the side, just enough to hold it in place until I can get clamps on it. I got to get the front panel before I get the clamps on. So it's a little bit of juggling here, but we should be all right. We should get this pretty easy. So yeah, there goes nothing. Nice wood glue consistency here. And here we go. So I'm going to try to glue all sides of this. And if there's any gaps, I'll fill them afterwards. Alright, so this is going to go in here. Try not to make too much of a mess here. Like that. And stay, please. Please stay. Get this side first. And these brads are literally just to hold it. There's no, they're metal brads, so there's no structural to them. All right. And this should just rest right against that piece there. There we go. Good. Okay. And that should hold everything in place until I can get clamps on here. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna shut this camera off and I'm gonna just fill out the inside of this with the extra resin. So this morning we are gonna glass out these motor wells. If we can get this done, there's only the swim platform that needs a doubler, a second piece going on here to thicken it up a little bit, and then a couple of braces, and all the fiberglassing will be complete on the outside of the hull. At that point it's just fairing and yeah, fairing, sanding. Can't kind of wait to get to that point because it's going to be going to see a lot of progress quick, I hope. So today what we're going to do is we are going to fiberglass the motor wells. We have to install this 1-inch. I'm using Kevlar. The plans called for a glass. I couldn't get glass in this width, and to cut strips it just falls apart at that width. So we're using Kevlar. It's what we get our hands on. It's theoretically stronger than glass, and what this does, it actually wraps through this hole here around the back side of the transom, and then it comes up the side here, so it makes like an S around this, and that actually locks the top of this onto the transom, because when you put the weight on this, on the motor well, the weight's pushing up and it actually wants to pull the motor well off of the transom. So that'll give it extra reinforcement, basically like bolts that will hold it onto the transom itself, and the transom's glassed out solid. So that should really give us the strength we need to hold the weight of the motors. And after that we do 3 layers of glass all the way around everything, on the corners, the outside corners, the tops, everything we can get 3 layers on. And then as a final touch, I think I might just do, like, if there's any voids, I may just throw, like, there's probably gonna be a section here where there's no glass, I might just throw a layer of 12-ounce glass on there just to seal it up good and give it a little bit extra strength. Alright, so I have finished putting Kevlar strips on. I fanned them out accordingly. I did wrap one all the way around the front of this and then back through, and then on the inside it comes through the holes, and then on the inside of this it's fanned out as well, and this will all get covered with a layer of fiberglass afterwards, both sides. So yeah, that's kind of what the Kevlar does. From here I'm going to start fiberglassing the outside of the motor wells back to the hull itself, to the transom, and then I got to glass everything together as well. You see these boards, I just put a little bit of filler in the holes. I'm just trying to get it to set up a little bit before I start glassing, but once I start glassing I'll be able to pull those off, just kind of make sure it's nice and flush, and glass right over the top of it. Alright guys, so we're getting ready to glass all the motor wells in. What I'm going to do is I'm probably going to wet everything out on my little bench I made here, and then I will apply it and roll it out. And I think it's going to be the fastest, easiest way to do this by myself. Unfortunately Cassie's working today, so yeah, that's the plan. Hopefully it all works out. I'll set up the time lapse and get a move on.
we doing today?
We are mixing resin. We are using Total Boat 2-to-1.
Slow.
2-to-1. Today we're using the slow. We are going to be fiberglassing all the joints, the rest of the joints on the second motor well. Yesterday I did this one all the way around, all the corners, and back to the transom in the hull itself, as well as all of the Kevlar strips we used. I still have to add a piece over the side in the back, but I'll do that later on. So Cassie is mixing and she's going to start wetting out and
pass them on to you and just go.
That's it. Pass them on and go.
So enjoy the time lapse of this because we don't have hands anymore.
Yeah. Alright guys, so we just did the final layer of glass just on the outside of the motor wells here. And the plan just does call to cover all of the strips here with at least one layer of fiberglass. So we just knocked that out real quick. It's actually Christmas Eve. It's about 60 degrees out here right now, and yeah, who would have thought, right? We got about 3 inches of rain coming tonight, but that shouldn't affect any of this. So yeah. So I picked up this nice cordless 20-volt oscillating tool. Everybody seems to use them, so I already tried it on the other side. It works well, so I figured I'd give you guys a show on how well it works. Alright, just like that, done. So I think it's they're well worth the money, honestly. Alright, there you go, all cleaned up. So maybe 3 or 4 minutes, but cuts through everything. I had 4 layers of glass on the corners here. Cut through that no problem, just like butter. There was only 1 layer of glass in the middle here, and you see how fast that cut. So I say well worth the investment. Oscillating tool, battery. I'm not sure how long these blades are going to last. It looks like it's already getting dull. I don't know how well that shows up, but you see the center teeth are already dull. So we'll have to kind of play it by ear, and we'll go from there. But so far so good. We have started fairing the sides. I'm sure there's a video coming out or already out by the time this is spoken, but the first kind of coat is on here. There's definitely low spots we have to fill. I'm waiting on a large drywall sander. Building Wilder used one and he said it worked phenomenal, so we're going to try that just to kind of save on the longboard. And they want you to use like a 3-foot long flexible board to sand all this, and it really is just a killer on your shoulders and arms. So when the sander comes in, I'll knock all this down quick and we will put a second coat on. Probably take 3 or 4 coats to get it nice and smooth. And then we are debating still whether we're going to paint it before we flip it, the tunnel at least. And we should have kind of decisions here in the next week or so, but we're going to take a break for a few weeks here, and yeah, that's about it.
Do you love your Gary?
Gary the Gator.
You love him?
Gary the Gator.
Just gonna dry fit everything, make sure it all fits properly. Not like that.